I'm pretty excited because I helped deliver 3 babies today, so that was exciting. Anyway, I like to learn about different cultures and different people, and I sometimes will watch videos of people talking about their culture. And today, YouTube showed me this video of this guy in South Korea who was talking to people in South Korea about how they felt about foreigners traveling there and how they felt about like their children being in relationships with or potentially marrying somebody who is a foreigner. And some of them were okay with it, and others of them kind of had a problem with it. And it's usually the older generation that has the problem. And they feel that if their child is with somebody from a different culture, that they're going to lose their culture and that they're going to lose their traditions. And they're always very concerned about passing on their culture and their traditions. And I think that just because you're with somebody who is different from you or comes from a different cultural background doesn't necessarily mean that you will lose your culture and your traditions. First off, you should be with somebody who respects your culture and who wants to learn about it or even incorporate it into their own lives and potentially the lives of any children you might have. So that's something you discuss with somebody before you even marry them. You talk about those things. And I think that the things that matter for relationships are having shared values. And you can have shared values with somebody who comes from a different cultural background. And it just seems like a lot of the time, especially in like Eastern or Asian cultures, they have sort of like a stereotype view of Westerners. And they seem to think that Western people don't have values the way that they do, which is not true because people are so different. Like in America, for example, there are people from literally all over the world. There are all different types of people with all different types of beliefs and all different types of cultural backgrounds and values. So just like the stereotyping of Western people or Americans, I think is just kind of dumb. And it's just like you're seeing these things in the media about what people from certain countries are like, and you're not really interacting with like various different people from those countries. So you're not really getting an accurate view of what those people are like. And one of the women in the video, she was an older lady and she had a son, and she said if her son were to marry somebody who was a foreigner, that she would disown him. And I just feel like that's like crazy to me. Like, how does somebody come to the conclusion that their two options are one, accept that their son or their daughter has a partner from a different culture, or two, they no longer have a son or daughter and they really think the second option is the best option? Like, to me, that's insane. I know to some other people that might be considered normal and a totally reasonable and logical response, but to me, that's extreme. And I think that that's really sad because it shows that if you love your child, that your love for your child is conditional, and it's conditional on them doing the things that you want them to do and making the decisions you want them to make. And I think that any parent that genuinely loved their child would want their child to be happy and to be healthy, and so they would allow their child to make those kind of decisions for themselves. And I think that a lot of people put too much pressure on their children to be a certain way, and I don't think you should have any expectations for how your child is going to turn out. You just raise them the best that you can, and you teach them your values, and then they grow up and they become their own people, and they have their own thoughts and their own feelings and their own wishes and their own goals. And I don't think it's fair to restrict what they can do in their personal lives like that, and to tell them that you're not going to love them anymore and you're just like going to disown them for doing something like that. I think that that's insane. I think that's insane. But some people think that that's normal. And I don't know. I feel like there's so many different people in the world, and different countries are becoming more globalized. So you're going to have to learn to live with people that are different from you. And I think that it's more interesting when people have different thoughts and ideas and beliefs, and they can learn from each other based on those differences and like celebrate those things. I don't think you lose your culture if you decide to be with somebody that's different from you. You gain a different culture, and then your kids can celebrate both of those cultures. They don't have to lose anything. So I think a lot of it is just based on fear and ignorance, and people not really understanding like anything outside of their own culture, or not being familiar with different cultures and different people. And I think the best thing to do is to actually travel the world, learn about different people in different cultures, make friends with people from different backgrounds, and then just start to learn about different people. And I don't think that's a hard thing to do. I just think that racism is stupid, and all it does is harm people, and there's just no good reason for it. We're all human beings, and we're all related to each other with the same genetic code. And to just like discriminate against people because they look different from you or they have a different religious belief, like, I think those things are kind of stupid. I just think it's stupid.